Hello and welcome to my tropical style garden here in the UK. It's a very sunny February day and as you can see in front of you, there's lots of madness going on the lawn. So I've been redesigning areas of the garden, and in this video I'm going to take a walk around the garden, show you the plans that I'm hoping to get on with. Let's get on with it. Okay, so first I'd like to mention I have got a bit of a cough and a cold, so if I'm coughing or sniffling or got a bit of a croaky throat, I do apologise. Hopefully it won't impact the video too much. So getting back to the garden. In a previous video, I have said that with my big circular lawn that's surrounded by evergreen plants, my idea was to now add a path around the right side to stop me keep ruining the lawn through the winter months. Well, that has progressed quite a bit. I've been sitting in the garden, sitting in the house, doing different designs, going through how I want the garden, what I like, what I don't like. And first, before we go through the design, I'm going to mention some of the bits that I really don't like. And then hopefully that will let you know why my design has gone the way it has. So the design is down there on that chair. We'll discuss that in a moment. But first of all, one thing that's always annoyed me, and it actually was commented in one of my videos, and I agree totally, that because of my large circular lawn, the plants on the left and around to the right look very pinned back, and it's always not allowed me, because of these big shrubs above, to underplant the way I want. Now, that isn't meaning that I'm now going to make my borders massive along this area, but it does need to be improved so I can get more layering into these borders. So for instance, because this is a nice big border here, I can get the big plants at the back, and then I've got more room to play with and be more creative with the planting underneath, because I can go for tall plants, short plants, slope it back, whichever suits me. But to the left and the right of my lawn, because the border at them points is only about a metre wide, that makes that really difficult. Now, the other thing that I've said annoys me is this Formium yellow wave, which is coming out. But something that has been quite annoying for me over the years, that probably wouldn't bother most people, but this large Camarops here and this Waggy here have always pretty much grown, surprisingly, at a similar rate, because I would have thought the Waggy palm would have grown much quicker. But they quite annoy me that looks just like one big clump. So the point I'm trying to get to is the Waggy palm is probably going to be moved, and that will make more sense very shortly. So keeping all this large Camarops humilis here and moving this to a different part of the garden, it's lovely and healthy, so I really don't want to move it. But for me to redo this design, it's probably going to happen. So going around this side, it's my worst side of my border. It looks very messy at the minute. It is February, but these plants under here are all a mix mash of evergreen shrubs. They haven't got balance, and I hate it. It's quite simple as that. So that is going to change. And around this area where my old bench used to be, I've never really planted in front of that, because I want to do possibly a water feature or something there. So that is another area I cannot stand. So we're going to go back to the design now and see how I can incorporate this to make massive changes, hopefully for the better. Right, so let's have a look at the design. We've gone from a circular shape to what very much resembles the yin and yang sign, and that was part of my influence for this garden, not for a spiritual reason, just purely for a design shape. I wanted the path to go round to the right and follow on to the back. And then I also wanted some way of planting to the left and to the right side of the path, which originally I was just going to have a circular lawn to the left of the path. But I didn't feel it was going to give me the interest and the character that I wanted. So then I started thinking about the left side is my sunny side and the right side is the dark side, which then got me onto the whole yin and yang side, the dark and the light. And that would have given me on this left side a kidney shape type lawn. Now, from anywhere in the garden, it's not going to look like the yin and yang, because a garden isn't flat like this. It's going to be in more dimensions. We're going to have height and plants that are going to change the whole look, but it will look like a kidney shaped lawn. So basically, where I am now, I'm on the patio with a gazebo. The lawn is going to be there, and then this path round. And you might see I've now brought a pond into the lawn, which I pretty much said I'd never do, but that's how my head works, with a bridge and a stream, and that will go round to the pond at the back. So that was my rough drawing. So then I had to do another drawing to the side, which is very similar, changing a few bits, which was actually all measured and scaled. I'm a landscape gardener, so it's quite important that I do measure everything to make sure things and designs actually fit. I know this isn't going to be the best camera footage, so I might have to edit this, but hopefully you can get an idea of what it's going to do. So let's see how that works in real life. So moving back here, that would give me, you can see around the plant, these plants, these are not where they're going. These are for your benefit, so you can see the sort of shape of the lawn. And also I had to pass this by my wife, and looking at the drawing, she didn't really get the size of the scales or anything, which is understandable, so I had to sort of mark it out onto the garden. So if I zoom out a little bit like that, hopefully now you can see the sort of shape. There's a red spray mark going around here, which is going to be the kidney shape of the lawn, and that's going to go round here. The plants will carry on round and then back round there. So this would all still be lawn. So my lawn would probably be about a third of the size that it is now, and the sheet is just to give my wife an idea of how big the pond might possibly be. Obviously it will have rocks around it and all stuff like that, but when I went to visit the tropical pond in Northampton made by Shade Landscapes, who are aquascape gardeners, I was absolutely blown away by it. The detail, the idea that it just looked like it was some Balinese jungle, just absolutely sent my sort of brain to another level and wanted to incorporate something like that. But one thing Joe told me when I was there was lots of people put their ponds at the back of the gardens and don't always get to appreciate them as much as if you could bring your pond forward. And that stuck in my mind because my pond was at the back. So me being me thought, okay, I want the pond at the back because that's where I sit, but if I can put a stream in and bring the pond to the front, then why not try that as well? Just doubled or trebled my budget, but we'll worry about that as the time goes by. Getting back to it, so the design, we can see this path is going to go round and to the back, so that means that the path is going to start here and work its way around. This is going to be a cobble path, so that means this tree fern is going to be moved probably further back because it's sort of in the way. I marked this lawn out loads and loads of times, and if I had a clear blank canvas and I was landscaping someone else's garden, this would be easy because I could work in the dimensions there. But I'm trying to work with plants that are already here, patios that are here, gazebos that are here, and try to get things that work. Now, one of the things that is easier to move is these tree ferns, because I can sort of dig around them and put them back without them really affecting them in any way whatsoever. So originally I said I was going to just put the path round there and this would all be lawn to the left. But that was just going to be boring. That was just going to be a path going round. And I'm going to show you now some clips of Danny's garden, who has I'll put his details up of his YouTube channel, of a cobble path going through his plants. He's got plant through his garden out to a clear opening at the end. He's got plants both sides. And as soon as I see this in his garden, I thought it was brilliant. So that made me think, along with some of the other gardens I visited, if I want that interest and character, I need the plants both sides so I feel like I'm immersed in the garden. So going back, as we walk through here now, obviously this fern will be moved. Either side, hopefully, as I just bang into the tree fern, there will be rocks on both sides. This will be a cobble path. Now, when I get to here, I'm thinking about putting a small bridge in here with a stream coming from there, going round and bending into the pond. And then, because I just thought, sorry, when I'm back here, that's a long way to walk around with just plants as the interest. But if I get to about here and I have a little bridge or a stream, it's going to make me slow down. It's going to make me pick up the details. I'm going to be able to look through amongst these plants and see the pond in there, because there's going to be possibly a stream there. I'm not pretending that some of these things might change as I start building it, but this is the plan at the minute. And then I can carry over this little bridge. So that's given me interest halfway around the path. And then I can come round, and then I'm going to have that path that carries on back round that way. But then also it's going to carry on around here. And this section here is going to be my bridge with the pond there, and the stream is going to go there, round there. And this is why the waggy will need to be moved, and the phormium, because that will go round there and join the back pond as a stream. So that will allow me then to walk around here, give me that sense of journey around here. Because this is my sunny side, I can put rocks and that around here, because this red mark is going to be the lawn, the kidney shaped, yin and yang shaped lawn. And then I can get some really nice like succulents or more cycads or agaves, however I take it. That's going to be my sunny side. It's still going to be really nice and open, allowing me to sort of have all the types of plants I love. The jungle type plants, the evergreens, the succulents, and it's going to give me more variety. And then going around here, and you're going to have to excuse the mess because it is a little bit of a building site. It's going to be very soon. So walk through here. This gives me a bit of that jungle feeling already, but I've said previously I might be taking the left brick and the right brick off just to make this a little bit thinner, because I think it will give me a better atmosphere. So going around here, I'm going to flick past around the gazebo because it's got all this stuff chucked under it. And this is the area we've spoke about, with another pond and the waterfall coming from that back corner, with the inspiration of the tropical the tropical pond that Shade Landscapes built. That would be my inspiration to get that sort of really natural look. Now, going around, then there would be a bridge across here, and then background so I can get around here. Now here, this is my, for simple, let's call it an arched path, rainbow path, whatever you want to call it. But now I'm losing the circular lawn. I feel like I need to lose this circular theme where this goes round here. So that goes round and goes to my cabin. So if I go back, it gives you that kind of arched effect. I don't feel it's going to look natural enough for how I'm trying to change the garden. So what I'm probably going to do is lift them cobbles. And I definitely said probably, because my mind changes all the time. But at this moment, I feel like this path is just going to go around there, be a bit thinner, curve around there and go that way. And then this part, because I'm going to now have a stream, hopefully, if everything goes well, through there and to the pond, this could probably be a lot less formal and just then have stepping stones round to the bridge that goes to the back area, because that will make it less formal and much more natural sort of planting. I will be using lots of evergreens. If people are interested, in the comments I can show some of the plants that, and these are only a few that I've just put out to get an idea of how it will feel to walk around these spaces. The large fern, tree fern there, is probably going to be just moved across nearer the gazebo. Again, this solves me another problem, whereas if I go around here, this trachycarpus is starting to grow bigger now, and give it a year or two, will be all tangling up with that fern. So I can move that fern to the right and give myself a little bit more space, and I really think it will look more effective if I go across, and I will then have these fern leaves just around here, almost hanging. I don't want it too close, because every time the wind batters, I don't know if any of you have ever put a tree fern near bamboo, but if you've got them too close, the bamboo blows in the wind and like whips the leaves and snaps the leaves on the tree ferns quite bad. So they do need a bit of room round and nothing so that's going to bang into them and smash them too much. So moving that round will be quite sheltered, I think, there, and hopefully sort of just tie in a little bit more. What other things have I got to think about? Right, so the rocks are a bit of a dilemma in my head. I would love to use like the glacial rocks that were used in the tropical pond that I visited. The thing is, my garden already has lots of rocks, and they are these sort of Welsh slate, which I really, really like. And I probably will going to, so I don't have to replace all the rocks in my garden, I'm probably going to use the same rocks for the pond. And I have been putting these little cobbles around, and the idea of this is, I just, because I've got a load of these and I wanted to see how these round cobbles looked against these dark Welsh slate. I'm still a little bit torn. It's probably going to happen, and I'll tell you why. Because going under all this madness that I've dumped into my gazebo, I have tubs and tubs and tubs full of cobbles which someone was selling off cheap, so I brought them for the pond. They may line the bottom of the pond, but I wanted to see what they look like next to the rocks as well. So just quickly going back down to the design, that shows the gazebo, the crazy yin and yang now garden with the path going round, the streams going to it. The back gives you the back pond with the stream and the footpaths going across. And that's going to cost me a small fortune. So how long this is going to take, hopefully I'm looking at very soon. As soon as if I can book a week off work and get a bit of spare time and the weather's good, hopefully, it's February now, I'd like to start breaking this out, getting all this path in. I will cover all that footage. The pond's probably going to come a little bit later, because there's quite a bit of money to be spent on filters and checking out the best way to do this ecosystem pond that I want. But I can do the paths around here. Like I said, I can build the wooden bridges and just make sure that I can lift them up to possibly dig the streams and that underneath, as long as I well think out what I need to do. So I could build all them, carry on this path down here. Bear in mind that when I take all the cobbles out from around the circle, I can clean these up and reuse them all to join into these paths. So that's going to save me a little bit of money. And if I make them thinner, the path's a bit thinner, that's also going to really help. Right, I think I've covered most of it. I really believe with all my heart that this is the way forward, that I'm going to go with the garden. It's going to take a little time budget wise, but it's definitely the way I am heading. Please let me know your thoughts. I'm going to cover the whole process, so if you haven't subscribed, press that subscribe button. It doesn't cost a single thing. Give it a like. I'd also like to know your thoughts. Some of my ideas that have come from this garden are from watching other videos, but also comments that people leave. You know, I'm always going to go with my opinion, what I want. It's my garden, the look that I want. But sometimes some people say something and I go, do you know what? That makes sense. And I love to talk plants and I love to talk gardens. And that's why I'm just yabbering on now, even with a croaky old voice. So this is a major change, and it is one that I pretty much said that I wouldn't do. But what it does do is it still gives me a big open space. I'm still going to have this big lawn for the dog to run around. The planting in front of the pond here will always be low, so I can still see the plants behind, but there will be this sense that I can walk around there and I can walk around there, which will give me the sense of journey. And the thing that I think that will take my garden to the next level personally, that I feel from the beautiful gardens that I've seen, Oak Barn Exotic Garden, Simon and Harriet's garden, the Jungle Garden, the Temporary Jungle Garden, all them gardens, the one thing that made them special more than anything was the moment you walk into them, there was an atmosphere where you felt you were somewhere different. And any of us that are trying to build these tropical gardens in colder climates, that is what we're trying to achieve. And that is done with a little bit of thought, a little bit of sense of journey, a little bit of height, bit of seclusion, the right plants. And I don't know if you can tell, but I am really, really excited about this project. Not excited about the money it's going to cost, and not excited about the work I'm going to have to put into it. But let's see where we go from here. And like I say, let me know what you think. Thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you very soon. Oh, and if you want to know more about the plants that are probably going to go in, I could probably sort of go back to doing my talking plants videos, which I did sort of stop doing because I weren't sure if enough people were interested. But I've got lots of new plants to go in, and now I'm finally going to have room to plant them. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye.